Alright, so when it comes to feeding the birds on pasture, at this stage with the layer flock and the broilers, they're both in the grower feed stage. So the feed I'm using it's more milled down, I guess. There's organic non-GMO corn in it. It's an organic feed, but there's just all kinds of stuff in it to get them to put on the weight and grow and develop a little quicker. Willow really likes the feed, especially after it's soaked. But for the laying flock, there's 25 chicks and then a goose, so I give them 3.5 scoops. And I think this is like 2 cups or something. Okay, so that's what they get, and then, watch out, Willow. And then for the broilers, I give them 5 scoops just because I think there's 49 birds now. Willow, stop. Okay. And then I'll show you how much water I put in each bucket and the consistency I like for each bird, or for each batch of birds. Alright. Stop. Alright, calm down, Willow. Just lay down. Chill out. Okay, so for the layer flock, I like it to be more on the watery side, so it's like thick, I guess like thick tapioca pudding. Kind of gross to think about it like that, but I don't know, maybe it's not gross. I just don't like tapioca. Anyways, so I'll show you that consistency. One thing to consider is how much the grain swells. So you're going to put a lot of water in this, and then by tomorrow, you kind of just have to play around with it. I haven't measured anything, but like, it's pretty impressive how much water this grain will soak up. Stop, Willow. So it'll look real soupy, and then tomorrow it'll be thicker. So stir it a couple times. Okay, so just from my experience, I know it's going to need a little more water. Stop, Willow. That's for the chickens. You don't eat grain. Okay, so when you stir it around a bit, I like to see the grain get suspended in the water and take a little bit before it sinks back down. If that makes sense. I don't really know how to explain this, but anyways. You'll just have to like play around with how much water you put in, and your feed might absorb water a little differently than mine. So as of right now, that's the consistency for my layer flock. For the broilers, since this is this is going to be for their 3rd day on pasture. There's this bucket of feed. So the first 2 okay, let me go back a little further. When the broilers or any chicks are on not on pasture and they're in the brooder and they're still pretty young, I like to keep their feed dry in the brooder. You can soak it, but I don't know, I just found trying to keep the brooder dry like at all times is ideal, and having wet feed in there makes it wet a lot quicker. So I just give them dry feed just for convenience. But then once they come out on pasture, for the first 3 or 4 days, I moisten their feed, so it's not soaked overnight, it's just damp and it absorbs some water, because they're not going to be used to eating wet feed right away. So I like to slowly transition them. So for 3 or 4 days, I'll dampen their feed, and then after that, I'll slowly add more water each day to get it to the same consistency. Now, Willow, you're like knocking me over. Now, when you soak the feed, it does two things. One, it pretty much makes more feed, so the birds don't have to eat as much. And two, when the grain's soaked overnight, it makes it more digestible for the bird, so they can eat less grain and get more nutrients out of it, which is ideal, because then you're not, like, you got a knot in your hair, Willow. Crazy. That's ideal, because feed is expensive, and you want to lower your feed costs as much as possible, so that's another reason why I like to keep them on pasture, because they'll forage and find their own bugs and eat the grass and all kinds of stuff. What are you doing? So yeah, it basically extends your feed, and then it makes it more, I wouldn't say more nutrient dense, but it makes it more, like more nutrients available to the bird. So yeah, I'll show you how much I put in the consistency for the broiler grain. For the third day. Okay, so with, like, when it hasn't had time to sit, this is the consistency you want. So it's not just damp, but it looks wet. By tomorrow, it'll have swollen up and be a lot drier, so to speak. So yeah, it'll just be thicker in the bucket. The grain will probably come up to about here in the bucket. So yeah. That's out. One more thing. For the broilers that are in the chicken tractors, I usually just fill their buckets up and put one bucket on top of each tractor, and I just have it ready, fill it up right after I feed them. Same goes for the laying flock. They have their own little bucket. I just keep that in the barn so the dogs don't get into it. Yeah, it's real convenient when you just feed them, fill your feed buckets, and just put them right back so they're right there first thing in the morning when you go out and take care of all the livestock and all the birds. Alright, well, let's go. Alright, so we're over at one of the chicken tractors. As of right now, all of my birds, since they're still young, they're only just under 3 weeks old, I guess. Yeah, I think that's about right. I've looked at the calendar. Anyways, they're all in one tractor right now because they don't take up much space. Easier to just take care of them, and it's more convenient keeping them in one tractor for now. But in about a week or two, I'll split them up and put half in here and then half in my second tractor. Yeah, that covers that little topic, I guess. So the chickens in the chicken tractor get moved every single day. They get fed once a day. The trough gets filled up with that soaked feed that I just showed you. And every day the water gets checked. It doesn't really go dirty. I'll clean the little red thing out. I'll show you that now. Okay, so the birds will get like dirt and grass and stuff inside this, and then I just kind of swish it around, dump it out, and it's nice and clean. This screws on top of this little like dripper thing, and it goes into a hose that's connected to the bucket, and it's gravity fed, so the water pressure of the water being in the bucket or the reservoir above this is enough pressure to stop it once it hits a certain level. That's as best as I can explain it right now. So it just gets screwed onto this little thing and hangs above the ground, and then it just fills back up to the level that you set it at. That makes sure that they always have nice clean water. Last year I used the little chicken nipple system on a PVC pipe connected to the bucket. That worked, but a lot of times dirt and stuff would get stuck up in the little nipples, and then it'd drip, and then I'd just lose all my water. I'd have to come back and fill up the 5-gallon bucket every day. With this, they have easier access to water, and the water lasts longer, so I like this system a whole lot better than the little nipple system. Koba, no. As for the tractors, it's just a real simple 8x8 by 2 feet tall enclosure. One section is fully covered in tin, the other section has wire. What else? The wheels on the back, they're detachable. There's 2 lag bolts on either side, and it's just drilled right through the 1x1 or 2x2, whatever it is. And then they're just 8-inch lawnmower wheels, and they just slide right on. The tractor's really light, so I can just lift it up, put the wheels on, and then pick up the front and roll it to wherever I need. I have a rope that I actually put on the front, but it was in the barn and I just didn't get it this morning. What else? Really, I guess that's about it. Just make sure they get moved every single day. And with the layer flock, depending on how many birds you have in there, you can leave it for 2 days and then move it every other day. It all depends on how many birds and what they're doing to your ground. You don't want them to eat the grass down to dirt, because that's not good for the grass. For using the chicken tractor and the layers out on pasture in their ChickShaw, they're here to build pasture and then get the benefit of the grass in their system. Yeah, I think that's about it. These guys are pretty simple. So we'll head over to the ChickShaw with the electric poultry netting, and I'll show you that setup, talk to you about what I do with them, and then we'll head over to Paul's coop and I'll show you what he does with his birds. I don't know. Let's see if you can see this. So this is Buddy the turkey. Buddy was at the local feed store being sold as a meat bird, and he was the only one left. And I was like, oh no, I gotta pick him up. So I got him when I got a couple chicks from there. Anyways, Buddy is not gonna be a meat bird. Stop eating my button. Anyways, Buddy is just a pet now. He's here to just be another big bird in the flock, which will help protect everybody. I'll freak out. It'll help protect everybody from like the eagles. He's crazy. He's getting heavy though. Anyways, so this is the ChickShaw. Pretty simple. It's based off of Justin Rhodes' plans. I didn't look at the plans. I kind of just went with what I thought would work and be good. So yeah, it's a really simple design. It's basically a box elevated off the ground with a handle, two legs in the front, two wheels on the side, and a nesting box in the back. So yeah, real simple design. I'll open it up and show you guys that. I showed you it in another video, but might as well put all the information in one video. Let's see. So you saw their feed situation. They get fed that more soupy, wet grain, soaked overnight. That gets fed to them once every morning, and then their water gets changed. I've got the guard goose that's gone through the guard goose. I just got him the other day. He's hiding on the other side of the tractor. You can't really see him right now. But if it wasn't for him, I would have the other waterer, and I might try and get a bigger one of those and keep the reservoir on top of the ChickShaw, and then have the tube come down and drape over the handle. It'll keep things a lot cleaner. I don't really like having a water thing out because it, like, I don't know, it's just one more thing to have to pick up and move. And then if you leave it there, the grass underneath kind of gets burnt or like turns yellow from lack of sun. So yeah, I might look into a bigger one of those water fountains. Hey Tova! Anyways, I don't know what I was talking about. So yeah, the ChickShaws is real basic design. I'll show you that. I get fed, soaked grain every day, covered that. Water gets changed, moved, blah blah blah. Let's talk about the fence real quick. So it's just electric fence, like the electric poultry netting. Premier One has it. I don't remember the brand. This may even be Premier One. I don't think it is though. That this system is, but it's 164 feet. So I think the sections between posts are 10 feet. Seems about right. 10 feet. Yeah, it looks like 10 feet. So let's see. A square section or rectangle section would be 30 by 40 feet. So it's a really good size area for about, I don't know, at max I'll have 30, 45 birds in here. And then this system's real easy to move. So the stakes just pull right up out of the ground. And then the little solar panel electric fence energizer, that's portable, obviously, and I can show you that. I'll leave them here until they eat the grass down, so it's not as tall. I want them to manure the whole area, to fertilize it, scratch it up. It's really good for the grass. The sheep have been here, obviously. They kind of have the whole pasture. Ideally, they'd be rotated, but they're not. So there's sheep manure in here. The flies will lay larvae or eggs in it, and then they'll hatch out. There'll be little maggots. Those are really high in protein for the birds, so they'll scratch them up, eat those, eat any parasites that the sheep might have and left behind. So it's cleaning up the pasture and building soil and just building the health of the grass in the pasture. So yeah, that'll get moved, I don't know, maybe every other week for now, since the chicks are little. Yeah, we'll see. It's kind of just an experiment at this time, see what they do. But yeah, let me show you the ChickShaw. Alright, so the sun is extremely bright right now. Let's see, hold on. Anyways, we'll make this work. So there's just a metal rod, that's the handle. I put pins in it to keep it from sliding in and out. So I can take that out, use that to open the top if I want to. If I need access to the birds, the whole roof kind of hinges up backwards. Then I'll just put the handle in there to chalk it up. It's got a simple little latch there. This is the inside of the coop. So let's see, we've got 5 6-foot roosting bars in there. Let's see if the lighting will fix itself. 5 roosting bars in there. Chicken needs 6 inches of roosting space, so potentially you could fit 60 chickens in here. That will never happen. At most, I'd only say there's 45 will go in here. Nesting boxes in the back, and 1-inch wire flooring, so the manure falls right through. On the sides, when I got the wire at the co-op, I got it by the foot, and I told the guy the wrong dimensions. So, yeah, these are a little bigger than I wanted. It's 1 inch by 2 inch. It works. A raccoon can still fit, put its little paws through here, but I've got the electric fencing up, and there's really hardly any raccoons around here, so I think they'll be fine. So, that's that. Then there's a little door in the front. This is also the ramp. So this goes up. Got a latch on either side. Real simple. Lock them up every night. There's the wheels. They're 21-inch wheels, I believe. I think they make a bigger wheel. I should have ordered the bigger one, but oh well. The birds have plenty of space to get under there, even when when they're big, and yeah, there's just gonna be plenty of space for them. They can go under there, get shade as they need it, and then obviously the sun always casts a shadow somewhere, so there's more shade. This is their nesting box. Got it on springs. That way, there's some tension there. You really have to pull it to open it. Keeps the chickens from opening it up. Yeah, I don't know. I've always had springs on a lot of the coops that I've built, and I really like them. So I incorporated that into this. There's 5 nesting boxes. I'll put straw in there once they start laying. There's Gunther the guard goose. He's still getting used to me, so he's running, but I'm sure in no time I'll have him liking me. Let's see, I'm gonna jump the fence and show you guys the electric fence charger. Alright, so this is it. It's a real simple setup. This Powerfield's solar electric fence charger supposedly covers 20 acres, so it easily does this fence really well. You get about 7,000 to 12,000 volts into the fencing. That's perfect. Yeah, super simple. Grounding rod, hot wire going to the fence, runs around and around and around and back to this. Kind of self-explanatory. But yeah, that's us set up. Oh, and one more thing that I just realized I forgot. The ChickShaw gets moved every morning inside this fencing area, just because when they sleep, birds drop a lot of manure. So you can see this is where they were one day, the next day, third day, probably 4th day. Actually, I think this is the 3rd day, so I don't know. Maybe 1, 2, 3. yeah, move that forward every morning. After this, I'll move it over here, and then, or whichever way, either side. Just keep the birds moving. That way you don't concentrate the manure in one spot. It's not good for the grass. You want to spread it out. But yeah, that's it for that. Now I guess I'll take you over to the Paul's laying flock over there and show you how they build compost and not grass. Alright, so here we are. We're at Paul's chicken coop. Real quick, I don't know how well you can see it. I can barely see it in the camera, but the lighting's really bright. So that's the coop. Comes out. There's the fence. This is their run. One thing about these birds is they're not protected by a guard goose, and they don't have overhead protection, like fencing or roofing or anything. So this big weeping willow tree acts as their protection. They'll go and hide under here, and it'll keep the eagles and hawks from swooping down and grabbing them. It was just pruned, so it's a little high, so a bird technically could come in, but yeah. It'll protect them from that, and then at night they get locked in the coop, so owls aren't a problem. Let's see, I'll take you inside the coop. Just gotta lock it. Okay, anyways. So they've just got like a little water thing right here. This is a really simple setup. That got dark, hold on. Let me step in here. Alright, so this is the coop. Look, we got a chicken thinking this is a nesting area. Didn't get any fresher than that. So there are, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7 nesting boxes. There's about 30 birds, so that works. You want, I think it's about 5 birds per nesting box. So yeah. Well, let's see, I said 30, I think there's like 24 actually. Anyways, so I actually set 2 sets of a dozen, so 24 eggs, under these 2 girls. They're both broody. Actually, that third one is too, but I didn't need that many. So a friend of mine has some decent, nice dark eggs. I don't know, a lot of the chicks that I have out on pasture are actually roosters, so I'm hatching a few more out. I'll keep the hens and process the roosters. Either turn them into cat food for the 2 exotic cats, or I'll probably just eat them. I don't mind rooster, so whatever. So yeah. This girl's pretty good. Let's see. Here's some of the eggs. I'll show you one. So I put a band around each egg just because sometimes the other chickens will hop up here and lay with them. So you just kind of have to check them. Then I put the date on the top of the egg. She'll probably move that back in there. Maybe not. In a minute she will. I don't know. When the camera's out of her face and she has privacy. So, little feed trash can in here. Those are the roosting bars. The floor is a plywood floor with sawdust and horse manure down. It stays dry. They scratch it up. Paul, when he feeds them, he throws the feed on the ground under the roosting bars. That scratches the manure in. Ideally, if it were me, I would probably, and I'm going to see if Paul would want to start doing it. I'll do it for him or whatever, but yeah, I'm gonna run it past him. So I would soak the feed, especially this stuff for the layers, and the way he feeds. Quiet, guys. It's this really fine grain. It's incredible quality grain, but it's just ground really fine. So a lot of it goes to waste, and it's pretty dusty. So by soaking it, you really save, you save all the dust, because they'll be able to eat that. This grain will swell, so you don't need to feed them as much. And then it just doesn't get lost in the bedding the way he feeds, so I don't know, we'll see. Maybe toss a handful of this under the roosting bars just so they scratch up that manure and it doesn't build, and give them the rest as soaked grain. I don't know. We'll see what he wants to do. So, some eggs. Yeah. This is a super simple setup. So this is the coop. And the run. With the run, all of the yard waste from the property comes here, and they scratch it up and turn it into really great compost. And then this gets sifted with, let's see, with that screen right there. It gets sifted and then can go on the gardens. But you can see it's like really nice black gold. Great stuff. Being that all the yard waste, including the weeds and grass clippings, comes here, this stuff is actually full of weed seeds. But with the right management techniques, it's not that big of a deal. It grows really nice plants, though, that's for sure. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Hold on, I'm manually adjusting the lighting because it was just so darn bright. There's some fig trees in the chicken run. This provides a little extra shade, and then it also provides just another spot to plant figs, because who doesn't like a lot of figs? This one's actually really cool, the one closest to us. After all of the other figs have fruited and have gotten ripe, this one starts getting ripe because it's under the shade of the willow tree. So it's kind of a little microclimate under here and sets it back, so we get an extended fig harvest, which is awesome. But yeah, there's a pile of kale that Paul dug up and gave to the chickens. Got grapes on the fence, and a lot of nettle growing around. Chickens totally peck at that because they know they'll get stung. But stuff's really high in vitamin C. This stuff is thriving in this chicken compost. But yeah, that's about it. So let's see, if you liked the video, hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to share it with all of your other chicken people friends. And yeah, be sure to subscribe. Comment below, let me know what you think. If you have anything to add to the video, it's always great. Can never remember everything. I guess you can follow me on Instagram at Growing Back to Eden. Check out a lot of my older coops. I've had quite a few, and they're all pretty cool. I've had one, maybe I'll include a picture. I've had one that had a fully enclosed, it was a fully enclosed coop, and then it had chicken wire on part of the roof. So I used that as a trellis and grew like gourds and like birdhouse gourds and loofahs and stuff up that. And then inside the coop, it had all the gourds hanging down. It was pretty neat. If your roof is higher, it's ideal because then you don't have to hit your head on birdhouse gourds. I'd always turn the corner and just smash my head because I wasn't paying attention or something. That was a cool coop. And then I had another one that was just, I built it for $15. It was made out of pallets or pallet wood, like broken down, and that was a really awesome coop. I'll throw a picture in there or in here of that. And then I've had a few, but yeah. So that is that. Like I said, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, share the video, and be sure to subscribe. And follow me on Instagram, Growing Back to Eden. Alright, happy chicken keeping, and have a good day.